Hello! I'm Tom Varner and welcome to Adventures in TV Land. For today's adventure, I've come to Lincoln's New Salem State Historic Site near Petersburg, Illinois. Now, New Salem is a recreated village that Abraham Lincoln lived in for about 4.5 years of his life. He moved here to New Salem after riding on a boat to New Orleans and back, doing some business there after leaving his father's home. And it's here in New Salem where he began his pursuit basically of law, began to study it in depth. Now the village, there's only one place, one cabin, one structure here that is the original structure that once stood on this village, because the village only existed until about the mid-1840s, and then everyone basically left. They moved to other places because the Sangamon River, it was unnavigable by steamships, and so people gave up living along the river in the hopes of, prospering that way, and they moved to larger cities and other places. But in the 1930s, the village was reconstructed, and it's made to represent the way it was when Abraham Lincoln lived here. Now there's the visitor center. For most of 2020 and part of 2021, it has been closed, but it is now open. It's Abraham Lincoln with his axe and some school books, teaching himself about the law. And there's good old Abe reading a book and petting a dog. It's called Search for Knowledge. There's a red, white, and blue Conestoga wagon. Back in the day, Conestoga wagons were like the freight trucks of the American West. This display here talks about basically the founding of New Salem and what it was like when Abraham Lincoln lived here. This display here is about the founding of the New Salem State Historic Site and the reconstruction of the village here. This statue is called A. Lincoln, Deputy Surveyor. Here's a map of Lincoln's New Salem. Here's some rules to keep in mind when visiting the historic village. Please remember, food and drinks are prohibited. Students must be with chaperones. Do not touch or feed the animals, and please visit the museum store.
What is this place? What is it that you do here? Merchandising.
This is Henry Onstott's Cooper shop. It's basically, they made barrels and buckets and tubs, things like that. It is the only original building left from New Salem. All the other buildings are reconstructions. This building, however, is the original building. Now, growing up, I came to New Salem usually at least once or twice a year. Once a year was because of the Boy Scouts. We had this march we would do, this hike, where you would hike from New Salem to Springfield. Our troop, we did it in reverse. We always hiked from Springfield to New Salem, because this is where we camped out. We camped out here at New Salem. So I have some memories of this place, but it's been many years since I've been here. About 25, 30 years since I've last been here. That's the Miller-Kelso place, and Miller was also the blacksmith, and that's the blacksmith shop. This looks to be the root cellar. This kind of looks like it's not too far, right next to the well of this home. This is the carding mill. Carding mill was where wool was prepared for spinning, where they brushed it, the fibers to get them even, and carding engines brushed the wool into rolls for batting into quilts. This is a recreation of the first Berry Lincoln store. Abraham Lincoln co-owned the store with William Berry. They later moved to a different location, to a bigger store here in town. But this was a recreation of what the first store that Berry and Lincoln owned looked like. And this is an inside look. Stores were a gathering place. They weren't just the place to come to buy goods, but a place to pick up information and all the local gossip. This is the doctor's office. Now, just something to notice on these old buildings. You know, a lot of these places, these cabins and stores and homes and things, they had guttering. I mean, look at that. I know it's a recreation, but they did back then. There was wooden gutters around homes. This is the outside of the second Berry Lincoln store. Now this is inside the second Berry Lincoln store. This was the store Berry and Lincoln moved into after it became available, so they had more space and could sell more goods. I have to admit, it's a little strange being back here, because when I've been here before, previously to New Salem, this was a very busy place. Lots of people all around. They had all kinds of demonstrations. Could be, you know, the blacksmith would be in the blacksmith shop. They'd have a storekeeper around by the storekeeper shop, you know, people making crafts and different things like that. So far, there's only been one volunteer I've seen, and that was at the wagon wheel place. So, it's just kind of strange. It's very different. This is the Rutledge Tavern. The Rutledge Tavern was, I believe, the only tavern in New Salem. Next to some of the stores and the post office, it was quite a popular spot. Abraham Lincoln slept there a few times as a boarder, and he was also, supposedly, in love with one of the daughters of James Rutledge, Anne. Now, Anne actually became engaged to another New Salem resident, and he left to try to find his fortune elsewhere, and when he returned, Anne had already died and passed away from typhoid fever. Legend has it that Abraham Lincoln was heartbroken over Anne's death, and it sent him into a Great Depression. Horses. How you doing there, horsies? Huh? Do you know where I can find Mr. Ed? I believe Abraham Lincoln was a part of the volunteer fire department in New Salem, but I did not know that they had fire hydrants here. Now, just before you enter the park area, there's the statue, and it is called Abraham Lincoln on the Prairie. It features Abraham Lincoln reading a book while riding a horse. And right here is there's the mill, river mill, and there's a bridge where it leads up to the back to New Salem, but that's blocked off right now. Now this is a reproduction of an 1830s flatboat. Abraham Lincoln first became acquainted with the town of New Salem when the flatboat he was riding down the river to go to New Orleans became stuck in the nearby mill dam. Well, this has been another adventure in TV land where we visited Lincoln's New Salem near Petersburg, Illinois. Thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, hit the like button. If you've disliked, hit the dislike button. Subscribe to my channel for further content and ring that bell for email notifications. And if there's someplace that you would like to see me visit, or you have a suggestion about some other video you'd like to see, leave a comment in the comment section. And if you've enjoyed this adventure or any of the other adventures in TV land, you can help support this channel by going to Buy Me a Coffee. And for as low as just $1, you can help fuel the adventures. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.